Disclaimer: this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute financial advice. We are not registered financial advisors.
The next two need no introduction. You guys know them probably by heart. You've seen them on the channel. I'd like to introduce Chris Cullen, Senior Vice President at Brompton, and Michelle Tiraborelli, Senior Vice President, Head of CEFs.
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Good.
Take a seat. Hi, Michelle. A fellow Italian, Abruzzese, by the way.
Yes.
Can I just start with a couple comments, Adrian? First of all, great job on CMCL. Fantastic idea. You nailed that.
Everyone is welcome.
That's where it came from. That's my understanding.
Everyone is a welcome.
And secondly, like, what's this about? No more Friday nights. I'm having a great time. I want to do this every Friday night.
That's an inside joke between me and Renee. All right, so guys, we have the Brompton royalty here, the king of the ETFs and the undisputed queen of the split share funds, closed-end funds, same thing. So let's start with the firm. So you guys were very gracious. We took a tour of your office, Eric and I. Very kind of you guys. Very tight-knit group. We felt it was like a family. So why don't you take us, and this is for any one of you, the origins of the firm. What is the beginning, the core values of the firm?
Well, it was our pleasure to have you and Erica in our office. It was a lot of fun when we did that, the market close just a few days ago. Brompton was formed approximately 2000. There's three founding partners. Peter Brompton was our former chairman. He passed, unfortunately, in 2014. There's also Ray Pether, who is our current chairman, and Mark Caranci, who is our CEO. So the partners, to the extent that they can, are still very involved in our business. So the firm started out in the closed-end fund space. There was a lot of activity in issuing IPOs for closed-end funds in the early 2000s. I joined the firm about 5 years after the firm started up, and got involved right away. One of the first projects I worked on was Split Bank Corp, SBC, which I know you talked about in the past, and I've spoken to a number of investors here about their holdings in that product. And so we continued on, and not long after I joined, we hired a wonderful young woman who was extremely smart and hardworking.
Young man.
And we also hired Michelle. No, Michelle was the young woman that we did hire, and she's really grown into my partner, and I appreciate everything that she does for the firm. She now runs our split share corporation business, and I was tapped in 2018 to take a number of our legacy closed-end funds and convert them into ETFs, which I did. There was a number of them, and also come up with some new ideas and launch some new ETFs. So I'm very glad too that our two areas in some of our latest ideas and some of our best ideas have had a strong overlap.
Yeah, you guys make a great team. So perfect segue. Speaking of split share funds, we don't have an hour, Michelle. Yeah. Unfortunately, Michelle and I did about an hour video trying to explain them, and we'll keep doing it until people get it. But I think it's working out. So if I could just one quick, what's the number one thing people get wrong about this unique investment vehicle in Canada? Number one thing people get wrong about it.
Yeah, well, I think I'd say maybe not getting it wrong, but maybe a misconception in viewing it as simply a yield product. They're much more than that when you get to understand them. I like to think of them as wealth builders. Yes, they do offer high tax-efficient distributions, but they can also deliver very strong capital growth over time. And it's a unique structure, but essentially you're getting leverage exposure to high-quality companies. So when you're looking at some of these funds that have been around for almost 20 years, a number of them are delivering high double-digit total returns for 20 years. And when you think about it in that perspective and you think about the impact that can have on your portfolio, you can start to recognize how important of a tool this can be for long-term investors who are looking to build wealth. So I think there's, there's another, more to it than just a yield story. It's a strong total return opportunity for investors, and they've proven themselves over multiple market cycles, having been around for so long.
Speaking of monster total returns, anyone own Class A in here? Woohoo! Class A, let's discuss it. This is by far...
I'm smiling. I own Class A.
I know why you're smiling. My personal favorite product. So this solves so many problems. I mean, you're combining several split share funds. There's no NAV threshold for the payout. Let's talk about Class A. Who is the genius that thought of that, and were they promoted?
There's nowhere for me to go, Adrian.
You're already at the top.
I've hit the glass ceiling. I mean, and we appreciate the leadership that my boss gives. No, it was something that it was a natural fit for us. It was really we started out. We are a conservative firm. We started out on the preferred share side with SPLT in mid 2023, and that's been the most successful ETF that we've launched. We just crossed the $700 million threshold. We're getting good response both in the retail investor segment, the do-it-yourselfers, and we're also getting a great response out of the advised channel. So investment advisors love this as an alternative to many other fixed income products that they have out there that are available for their clients. So that really kind of it gave us the idea that we could succeed with the Class A share product as well. So yeah, we did launch that last March, a year ago this past March, and we're now approaching the $100 million level in AUM, and total cumulative return since we launched in March of 2025 is about 120%. So it's been a fantastic all around, I think, for both of those products.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm a very lazy investor, so you guys are let's just wrap all the split share funds that have been around for 20 years that have great performance. Let's give a smooth out the distributions. You guys have raised the because it's been doing so well. You're raising the distribution. It's a phenomenal product.
I just want to underline that we're not buying all the split shares out there. 9 Point has a good product, and I think we've got a little bit in there. But there's what we're looking for is just in each of the underlying Class A shares that Class A invests in do have an investment focus, and our PMs are evaluating those investment focuses. Is that where we want to be? Are they priced correctly? We talked on your channel quite a bit about discounts and premiums. They are looking for bargains.
That's the best. One of my favorite parts about it. You guys are actually actively looking at adding the split share funds that are trading at discounts, which is the most interesting thing about them, in my opinion, in the ETF, right? You're actively looking at that as well.
Yeah, and that plus, I mean, just the benefits of ETFs generally. It provides liquidity, provides a whole new layer of trading on top of the underlying Class A shares that just improves the experience for investors generally in this asset
For investors
class.
who are new to split shares, it's a great entry into the product as well, because you're getting a diversified basket, active management by our team, which has really good insight into these products. So good first step into split shares.
Awesome. So you guys decided to get into more the high yield game recently with your high pay ETFs that have recently been launched. So you guys have one that's global, you have a US one that focuses on infrastructure, utilities, and you got two more coming, financials and technology. What made you guys decide to get into the higher yield product? Tell me a little bit about the philosophy that Brompton has, because you did say we're more of a conservative firm. So how do you balance the higher yield with making it more conservative? Yeah,
I mean, we did take a little while to kind of evaluate and to figure out how we could fit into the space. And as you say, we try to come out on the conservative side. I think it's just prudent for us. It's prudent for investors in our minds. And so when we did enter, it was at a yield level that we felt was sustainable over the longer term. our high pays are targeting payouts on an annualized basis in the high teens range, so somewhere between 15 and 20%. It's not the highest yield you'll find in this space, but we think that that's the highest yield that's sustainable, and that was where we were comfortable. So our PMs are taking a truly active approach, 15 to 20 leaders in their respective spaces in the portfolios. They're looking for diversification. We don't want to pile into the mega cap kind of end of the market to the exclusion of all the other sectors that are available. Diversification has volatility benefits. So if we can find good companies that are in various sectors and have various business models and put them all together, what you find is that the whole is better than the sum of the parts, really, when it comes to volatility. So we have names that have good growth prospects and that can generate solid premiums on the cover call side, but then you put them all together, and the volatility of the portfolio currently for each of our funds is about half of the average volatility of each single name in the portfolio. So that's the value, that's the power of diversification. And we were looking to bring all these ideas together with some light leverage and some higher coverage writing than we generally provide in our other cover call products. And this is what we got. We got the high pay series.
Awesome. You guys are always a favorite. I always get the feedback. We love Chris on the channel. We love Michelle on the channel. We love his mustache. It's epic. It's unbelievable. And your socks, everything.
Yeah, I try with my socks. Yeah.
Very stylish. You've met a lot of our hardcore fans here and people that are retired early and really are counting on these distributions. Do you guys feel responsible? Like, what are the emotions you feel when you go to the office every day? Do you have these great people in mind, or will you have them in mind going forward? What kind of feelings or emotion do you have when you meet all these people that love your products and it changes their lives?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to be able to speak to you all face to face, and for many years, like, we've always had investors call in, and we've been able to have conversations over the years, but it's even better to be able to meet face to face. And in terms of, do we feel responsible? Yes, 100%. I mean, when we're sitting in our management meetings thinking of new product ideas, we take a long time to come to a decision, and we want to make sure that we're getting it right for investors, because we're in this for the long term, and we have somewhat of a rule that we won't launch product unless we're comfortable investing in it ourselves and having our friends and family invest. So we do take that responsibility very seriously, and I think we put a lot of thought into what we're doing with the intention to deliver good products that will last for the long term.
Just to echo Michelle's comments, like, this year is really my first year participating in retail investor conferences. This was my first Blossom Con a couple of weeks ago. This is my first Adrian and Erica Con, passive income con.
Which one do you like better?
Oh, definitely this one. Definitely this one. I know where my bread is buttered. But I've spoken to so many of you, and I'm honored and humbled by the stories you've shared with me and just the expressions of trust you've communicated to me in our firm and the products and our way of managing funds. I just want to thank you all for that trust. I think it's so moving. It's very wonderful.
Yeah, and I have to say, your team was amazing. You guys are very honorable. You're very responsible. And we were speaking to a lot of your team members, and they all, I'm collaborating what you're saying. They all own your products, so it really shows that you guys are trusting in what you're doing. And I just want to say, on behalf of Eric and I, thank you so much for supporting us. And we will always support you. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Good job.